Hey everybody, this is Pete from PA Labs picking up on our ScrollArea Gadget demo here. I believe this is going to be video 3 in the series. And I'm going to start this off by taking a look at our main screen. I want to make some changes here. So we don't really need a load button. And I'm going to put that against the wall and against the wall and against the wall. There we go. So our whole screen, well, let's think. I don't want it to go against the bottom. So let's pick it up a little bit. Let's see. Let's put it like this. Okay, that looks good. So let's go ahead and save. Oh, I like kind of seeing these square. So we'll do that. Not that it's really going to ever stay that way. So we hit save and we push out the code here. Okay, and yes, I expect you to write that. And there he goes doing that. So then once I've changed my GUI, I run my ICE processor again. And there he goes. Okay, so that's all updated. Now we can come over to our project. Let's go ahead and close the code clip there. And let's see where we left off exactly. Oh, yes, we deleted a button, didn't we? That can go away. Okay, so maybe this time you'll actually go. Yes, there it goes. All right, now, as I recall, we have a beautiful map on here, and it's ready for resizing. So what we're going to do is, I don't even think I put resizing on the window. Goodness gracious. Okay, so we're back to ICE Designer here, and we will select the window, come down here to constants, and this is adding all those lovely parameters on the create window screen. And we want to add a minimize, a maximize, and a size gadget parameter to that. So now we get our minimize and maximize, and we get our little handle down here to pull. So let's go ahead and hit save, and let's push the code out, our new copy of the code. And you have to blink. Come on. There we go. And so we can close that. And let's see. Yes. Now we can rerun the ICE process. I seem to run this 1,000,000 times on a project. I make so many little tweak changes here and there. Okay, so now let's take a look-see. And we have our minimize and maximize, but that's not really what we want to have happen now, is it? We really want this scroll area to Gadget to stick to the bottom and the right edge, or at least the gap. So, okay, let's go see. We're also going to want to move the grid size stuff here. These two guys need to move to the right. Okay, so how do you resize a gadget? Well, oddly enough, when your window resizes, it triggers this lovely size event. So now we know our window has changed in size. So we then come down here and say, okay, exactly what window changed in size? I could have 3 windows on that screen, and I need to change which one. So here we go and say, okay, let's go ahead and evaluate our window ID. That's why we do these 4 variables at the top of the repeat loop. So we now know what our what window has changed. And standardly, I always create these 2 variables with our primary window here. So we know the width and we know the height of our window. So what we're going to do is start with resize gadget. Kind of, I think we've seen this one before. So this is going to be our scroll area. Now, let's see. Our scroll area. Now this, whoops, this is going to want an X, a Y, a W, and an H. Okay. Now, for those we don't want to change, like I don't want this one to change, we're going to put in here a PB ignore. Okay. PB ignore is great because it says I'm going to leave that value exactly where he stays. This value stays, X and Y. That upper right corner isn't moving. What's moving is the right and the left corner. So let's see. If we come back here and we look at the width of this guy's all the way up against the right side. So the border doesn't count. So what we want this to do, width, that's this guy, W. Whoops, I'm sorry. That's this guy, W. We want him to be form width, don't we? He's going to stick right with that form. However, height, that's the last thing we want him to do. So height, we have this gap up here, and this is something else you have to take into consideration. If you have a toolbar or a menu up here, well, that steals another 30 bytes each off the top of the screen and shoves this down. So how can we build an equation such that if those are there, it still sizes right. If they're not there, it sizes right. So what I'm going to show you how you can do that pretty easily. So what we're after is the width, right? Or the height of this. So width is locked, height. So let's start with the form height. And then what we're going to do is subtract our gadget Y. And of what gadget? Yourself, of course. Okay. So now I've backed off where the starting point is. So now all I need to know to get this right is going to be what's that ending point delta? And by delta, I'm going to come over here and say, okay, this form is 600 wide or high. And how big are you? If I look at him, he's 440. So 600 minus 440 is, drum roll, 160. So we know his height is 160 smaller than the overall screen height. Okay. So we'll come over here and subtract 160. Now, there's a million different ways you could do this. That's just kind of a down and dirty way to do it. You're making it relative to what he is. And let's go give that a try and see what happens. It looks like we got a compile. It would have thrown an error by now. And let's see here. We have our screen. We can grab our handle. Look at that. Now let's go taller. Look at that. We're keeping our gap down here. He's sticking right with it. If I expand to full size and we can come down, look at that. Isn't that pretty cool? He did exactly what we wanted him to do. We didn't have to resize the inside dimension because the inside dimension has always been the size of our image. All it needs to know is how do we calculate these things. So now let's move the other two items that need moving here. And, I'm a full believer in plagiarism of my own work. And we'll come down here and I always start these off like this, just as a heads up. I find it keeps me grounded, I guess, if I start with everybody being ignored. So we have to move the TXT, and let's see, it was grid, right? And then we're going to need to move I called him string grid. So not that he's really a string, I just made it look that way. So if you come out here and let's go look at those real quick. So we have this guy here and his name is string grid, but in reality, he's just a text field. And what I've done is I've set his background color to white and his foreground color to black, just like it would be if it was a real string field. Same with these. We have text row and we have string row, text column, and string column. So you can't physically type in any of these fields by their very definition, which is what you want for these fields. All right, so it's kind of fun to line some of these up. I sometimes do this. It sometimes helps with what I'm trying to do. So different than this first one, we don't want to change the physical size of these two fields. We merely want to move them farther out, okay? So what, and reality, the only thing we want to change is the width. No, sorry, take that back. We're going to change the X. X is across, Y is up and down. So we're going to change the X in these. So let's go look at our screen here and say, okay, if I know what is the width of my form is 765 and string here is 670, right? Your X is 670 as opposed to 760. Oh, my brain is too tired today. CALC, we'll get the calculator out. Come on, little calculator. Here we go. Okay, so our screen is 765. 765 minus, okay, you are 670. Come on, calculator, come back to me. Oh, how many do I have up? Okay, minus 670, and that's going to be 95. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is come over to our code, and this is going to be on the string field, minus 95, right? So this is form width. Okay. And this guy is going to be form width minus something. Whoops. I'm going to guess and say it's going to be about 40 more, 60 more. Okay. So we have 765. Let's bring up our calculator. 765 minus, and we've got him, and he's 615. Minus 615 is 150. So now we come over and let's subtract 150. Okay, let's give it a shot. No errors. That's always a good sign. But it's not a sign that things worked. It could still not give us our answers. Okay, so initially it's looking good. If we, come on, grab that, Pete. There we go. Let's grab her sideways. She hugged right with us. Now, it shouldn't move when I do that. And it didn't move. So there we go. We got our screen resizing working just the way we want it.